party. It's your main man, Juggernaut, multi-platinum production team, Arkatech Beatz. Welcome to the live music review session. If it's your first time here, make sure that you're like, commenting, and subscribing. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. I am part of Platinum Production Team Arkatech Beatz. Shout out to my partner, Mike Trauma D. We are responsible for producing for your favorite artists. Big Pun 9's Prodigy MRD, Raekwon the Chef, The Game, Max B, French Montana, and so many others. Yeah, let's go. Let's make sure that we're tapping in. I know we were supposed to start about 8 o'clock earlier. Shout out to everybody jumping into the live. Congratulations, brother. Welcome to the club, NPCs, man. Your life will forever be changed. Let's go. Jumping into the live stream. About to get started in a few minutes. Man, he just got his NPC. Salute for taking that jump. Cause I know it ain't cheap. Let's go. For those who are part of our Future Producer Society group, This is one of those samples that's part of our challenge that I put into the chat. So, I will be posting it inside of there, shortly, just so folks can see, that I'm real about what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that's jumping into the live stream. If this is your first time here, like I said, we are doing music reviews. I am juggernaut of multi-platinum production team, Arkatech Beatz. We are responsible for producing for your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. Big Pun, Nas, Prodigy of Mobb Deep, Jadakiss, The Game, Raekwon the Chef. Rest in peace to Power. Waka Flocka Flame, Max B, French Montana, Wiz Khalifa. What you call it out right now? Coke Waves 3.5 out right now. Narcos, French Montana and Max B. We produced on that as well for the record Me Too, featuring French and Max. $1 Million Baby 4 coming soon. We produce a lot heavy on that. So, we're active right now. We've been active for quite some time. So for those who are just jumping in, make sure that you're liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing the live. Hitting the comments, jumping in the comments, that does help the algorithm. All of the chit chat and the talking. It does help the algorithm. It does help us move forward. You know what I mean? But I'm about to just jump into some of these reviews. I'm going to be on for approximately, it's only 9 o'clock now. I was supposed to start at 8, but I had gotten into a couple of calls and had to handle some other pressing business. So we're here now. So we're going to jump into this thing. This record is called Moth in the Flames. Did I listen to this last night? I think I may have listened to this last night. Let me make sure.
Yeah. For like it was PGR rated. She might throw her hands up. Sex.
Yeah, I did listen to this last night. You want to keep it moving? Shout out to everybody jumping into the live. This one is called Hard Trap by Apex Miles. I'm taking this maybe a beat. So we're going to take a listen to it. Let's see what it sounds like. People, yeah, man. Yeah. Listen, I want to give everybody a chance to submit their music for feedback, right? I do. I want to make sure that folks are I want to be transparent and making sure that folks are comfortable submitting their music so I can give it the feedback that it needs for them to get better. I believe everybody has to start somewhere. I believe everybody has a place where they have to start in this game, and we're all trying to see how we can get to those next levels and try to get those next things. At the same time, right, I do think that there has to be some sort of critical self-assessment, right, in terms of like, okay, I want to drop something to somebody. At the same time, I don't want to discourage you, but at the same time, I do want you to kind of, use some sort of situational awareness to understand, like, okay, something like this, it doesn't have what it needs to have. You know what I mean? Like, this is like kind of like what totally distorted in terms of like, I'm sure that when you were doing this beat and you were trying to get it out, you could see that everything was going way into the red, and it was way too distorted in terms of the sound, right? That whatever 808 or bass that you're trying to use is basically making your beat almost unlistenable. So that's the first issue, is making sure that we're choosing the right instruments, man, and making sure that we're mixing it the right way, and we're paying attention. And I think what we have to start doing too, and I want to put this out here, is, you know how they say, when you first start making beats, you're doing a lot of what we call imitation and replication, right? You're listening to stuff, you're trying to replicate your favorite artist's music vibe and stuff like that. It's very important for you to take your favorite people's music and for you to listen to it side by side to yours, and you can instantly hear the differences once you're comparing your music side by side by your favorite music that you're trying to create. And we have to start using that with critical listening. Because if you're not a critical listener, like, no amount of feedback I can give you is going to help you get better, right? It's because you're not critically listening to your own music and you're not giving yourself the right critical assessment internally. So while we can give you as much critique and as much information as possible to get you better, that's not going to supersede the simple fact that you have to also do your own critical assessments and making sure that you're, in line with what you're supposed to be doing. So yeah, so for something like this, yeah, this is like a hard no-go. So at the same time, I want you to make sure that you're listening to your music. Let's see if you can get this mixed better, and then try to resubmit something. The drums sound like they're pretty decent, but everything else that's going on beside it, the vocal sample is okay. That other sound, that 808 bass, it's out of here. It's not going in terms of sonic. It's not going in terms of tone, and it's definitely distorting and throwing your mix off. So we're gonna keep it moving along. Shout out to everybody that's jumping into the live stream. Shout out to everybody that's jumping in. This next joint is called Cradle by Asur. Yeah, let's take a quick listen and see where we're going with this. think there's something. I think this is kind of basic, right? I don't like we gotta find a better way to use this bass. it's like kind of like still like using like random percussion. Right here is probably your best part of the song, or best part of the beat rather. And if anything, we should have leaned on this. Like this should have started your record out, right? Because that sounds like that should have been the hook, right? And we still have to make this into a format that makes sense, right? Hook verse, lead with the best part of the beat. I don't like some of these sounds. Fill, a little shifting and a little pop noise, like we need something to feel more consistent. It feels like we're still trying to learn, which is fine. Like we're still trying to see what sounds go. And, you know, in some cases, less is more. Sometimes you don't need to put in any of that little air candy and stuff like that. Sometimes that's not taking you over the hump. Sometimes that's just, you know, making it a little bit more confusing than it needs to be. We could have just gone with maybe the 3 sounds. The drums, right? The clap. Snare. Right, we needed to figure out what we're going to do with this bass line. You know, and then maybe bringing that horn every now and again to kind of get us through it. But for the most part, you know, it's a decent effort, you know, in terms of you trying to get it going. It at least has some of the core elements that I think can work. Just finding a way to put it together a little bit better in terms of mixing them, getting it to sound a little bit more cohesive, and getting it to really go. And again, you know, I encourage guys to use samples and sample packs, because if you were to take a beat like this now, if I was to take a beat like this, and if I was to strip out the bass line, and then just kind of run with the main 2 parts of the elements, and then maybe go to splice.com. There's a link in the description if you're trying to get a subscription to that. Pull a sound out, find one to match the tempo and the key, and then slap that on. Then you got it's you're working with something a lot stronger. You know, some people would say, well, you know, you just drag and drop, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like we're dragging and dropping, whatever. You know, people gonna say drag and drop, whatever you want to call it. Call it whatever you want to call it. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get your music to what you got to get to faster. You know, and basing it that way, right? And I think this is also the part of the reason why I encourage sampling so much, is because then you get to start to understand how sounds go together, right? That was part of the lesson for digging for samples back in the day, when we used to go to different record stores and used to listen to different records. We used to be digging high and low for records, trying to find samples. It's like that started your music education, to be honest. That's when you started to realize about pitch and key and tones and tempos, you know, breaks and records. Like, you know, these are the things that kind of taught us through searching for something to sample. This is what teaches you, you know, how music is supposed to go together. Because now you're listening to everything, right? You find yourself listening to new age music. You find yourself listening to classical music. You find yourself listening to funk and soul. And this is how you kind of get your ear cultured. What I see happening too often in the reviews is I see that people are submitting music, but what's very apparent to me is that they're not listening to music. So you're making music, but you're not listening to any music. And that's what's kind of telling to me, because it's like, you know, those sounds don't go together, right? So what's making you believe that those sounds go together is because you don't listen to enough music critically to know the difference, and you're not training yourself. So that's another part of a layer of the education of going through the whole process of, using samples and learning those things and listening to those things and listening to different sounds, blending sounds together, kind of like a DJ. It's for us to understand what goes and what doesn't. Like, that's the reality of it. So shout out to you for submitting into it. I appreciate you. We're just listening to different things today. And we're trying to really get a clear understanding of what people are submitting, why they're submitting the things that they're submitting, and give them some real feedback in terms of what you can do to really improve. Remember, this thing is like a muscle. We have to show up, even when we don't want to show up. We have to, we have to dig, and we have to listen for things, and we have to hear how things are gonna go. You know what I mean? Kaz, what up? From my challenge inside of the one of those samples from the challenge inside of the portal. I decided to get into it yesterday, late last night. I'm gonna upload it on the YouTube link as part of the to kick that off, to see how many guys jumped into that sample. Shout out to everybody jumping into the live. Right, we're gonna jump into this next beat here. It's called Bishmillah. It's a rock song by Zooming Gang. We're gonna take a listen to it. Let's see what it sounds like. If it sounds too crazy, I'll jump right out of it. You know what I mean? It all depends. Sound like a rock song.
Never seen your shades, I've never seen you in my days. Never seen your face, I've never seen you in my nights. Never seen your shapes, I've never seen your footsteps. Never seen your shadow, I've never seen your mistakes. You are invisible, never touchable, still you're the same dream to me.
Yeah. you be playing stuff and you don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like you playing stuff, you don't know what it means. You be like, what am I playing? Like I don't even know what this means. You know what I'm saying? Am I playing some sort of war chant, war cry? You know what I mean? What am I playing? It's saying it's an invocation. Kind of like in the name of. Yeah, I stand down on this. For the most part, you know, it sound. He said it was a rock song. I don't know. Maybe this is like a different type of rock song that I'm not really accustomed to per se. Musically, it sounds okay, I guess. You know what I mean? Not really my cup of tea. The lyrics are what they are. The beat is kind of doing something that I'm not too sure of. So I really want to refrain from comment, to be honest. If I'm going to be like 100% with y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not really sure where to really place this, you know? And it may just be because I'm tired. But I really can't really formulate how to quantify where this should be. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, no disrespect, but it's like, yeah, I'm just trying to stay clear of this, if that makes sense. I'm going to keep it moving. And what I'm going to probably start doing here is I'm going to probably stop. Like if I see a submission that doesn't have a social media attached to it, I'm going to start thinking that it's people trolling. You know what I'm saying? Because that seems to make the most sense to me. Because for you to submit it and not have a social media attached to it, it kind of doesn't make sense to me. So I want to probably start looking for that and start making sure that I'm not, you know, playing music that, you know, is out here trying to invoke some sort of, you know, weird response from people. People be trolling, man. People are weird, man. Like this record here has rest in peace to Jesse Jackson. I don't even know what this is. Like people really be like, you know, like the amount of time it takes to have uploaded this. You know? Jesse Jackson tribute? What is this? Hold on.
Jesse Jackson, you will never be forgotten. I sing the Silver Risley.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like this stuff is weird, man. We're gonna keep it moving. This is weird. It's weird, man. Pax Alexander. No puedo. I can't live without you. That song about, was it Saul Williams? Yeah, listen to it.
Yo no puedo vivir lejos de ti, tan solo me sostiene la esperanza. Porque ella vive eternamente.
Dear sir, I'm writing cause I'm thinking know what you did. 40 days and 40 nights praying God into your fingertips. Issue a leg one nigga, you bred rabbit. And they been calling me tall baby like bad habits. Made a mix, linen and wool. How you out here just sending info? Dag nabbit, when I see brass rings I'm grabbing and I disappear. I know that hoes be tricking, but listen here, I'm Richard Gere. All due respect, it was a shitty soup shop. I was 19, my aunt was dead, and your sister did not do a very good job selling suits. But that's not really what I'm trying to tell you. I guess what I'm trying to say, dude.
You are wrong. All of you are wrong. To turn your backs on the rest of the world. We let the fear of our discovery stop us from doing what is right. No more. I cannot stay here with you. I cannot rest.
It's creative.
But he sits on the throne. He is a monster of our own making. I must take the mantle back. I must right these wrongs.
I mean, it's kind of a interlude short thing. I mean, between the Spanish intro, the rap in the beginning and the middle. I mean, I guess it's kind of creative.
Issue a leg one nigga, you bred rabbit and they.
I think that this needs to be mixed a little bit better. The Black Panther in the middle.
To turn your backs on the rest of the world.
I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know, it kind of goes, you know, but it doesn't have, to me, it doesn't have the, again, you know, it doesn't have the song stuff that we really be looking for here, man. Like, you know, it's decent, but, you know, this kind of is going to land kind of nowhere because it doesn't really fit any place, you know? So, you know, thank you for submitting it, you know, for me taking a listen to it, you know what I mean? But it's not quite what it needs to be. It says a remix of Nas' New York State of Mind Part 3. Why do we need to remix Nas' New York State of Mind 3? And I guess the question would be, should you be doing anything that has Nas' name in it? Because, you know, that's going to hold you to a certain standard.
Steel choker, struck walk, Nike shorts, at night in court. Stress and cut your life short. I'm from egg rolls and duck sauce. Where the feds rolled on duck short. City Island and say less. Plenty talented kids stay blessed. Gamble and make bets. Throw on some DMX's words, they live in all of us. Some get deported, some die young, but it's all a rush. I brought two, I left you with two of my friends. And now our goals is that our sons don't end in juvenile pens. Rikers should be closed, MDC the beacon. Where ice if you real, or they rob you upon your piecing. If you was locked down for a while, it's a different place now. They building hotels where it once was a devil's playground. Michelin stars cool, but the streets is cooking that beef stew. That chopped cheese too. Screwface how we smile. They want us gone, but that's fine. Cause we really outside for now and all time. That New York State of mind.
New York is like the mecca for anything you can imagine. When we started, I was a lot younger. Just anything goes, a lot wilder. Today, New York for me, I look at it through a different lens because, you know, we mean more. We stood the test of time, represented for the city for a long, long time.
And we got fit, jumping up, hitting pull-ups and dips on scaffoldings. Potholes still be hard in our whips. Never ending nightlife, supermodels and vents, some art galleries. I can name some clubs that no longer exist. The Limelight, the Tunnel, and the Palladium. All night we stayed in them fly, waving the sky. Viewers made it and why they wouldn't trade.
Yo, shout out to Harold DeMarco, yo. Yo, this is solid, yo. This is solid. Like, this in terms of just listening to where you sonically are, in terms of where your drums are, and the rest of your sample, and the way that it's going with the Nas vocal. And this is kind of smart, and I'll tell you why this is smart in one way. Is, again, you know, us trying to show what we would have done with the song versus what Primo did. You know, a lot of times it's like a compare contrast. People want to see if it's any better, if it's any worse. But for me, what I'm listening to, I'm just listening to something that can stand on its own sonically, which is cool. You know, you being able to put Nas into it and mix Nas into it to just to kind of sell that idea of it being on that kind of level. That's the smart thing to do in terms of getting people in terms of listening to your music. It's kind of an algorithm hack, right? So if people are searching for this song, sometimes the algorithm might serve this record up as well. It just kind of depends on how you label it, right? And how the thumbnail looks. And that's somewhat of a way for you to get a little bit of free traffic. So people can probably say, hey, let me go check out his beat store because I like what he did here. And it's just another way to promote your music, and I think it's very slick. You know, for the most part, I like what I'm hearing with the beat. You know what I'm saying? The beat sounds like it's produced pretty well, you know, and for me, it gives me a little bit of a thought process. Like, okay, let me check out what else he might have, because if this one sounds like this, that means that your other stuff may sound pretty well good as well.
Hated to the day that you die, the most hated, and I think we know why. Now, rappers we know as legends, drift and float to heaven.
Yeah, I think we like the way
In summer living, in present day I miss 87. And Queens was a teen, then a kid with a chain, holding a pen and wrote pain. We'll never see this again.
Yeah, these things are mixed in properly, and the beat is doing exactly what it needs to do, man. So I applaud you, man. Salute to you for putting this together. You know what I mean? This takes work.
So, I let rain replace the peepholes. I'm suited in boutique clothes. We're just inclined to defeat foes. The 5 boroughs where real life is defined. Y'all know the time.
All right, so now what you have to do is you have to now take this music now. You have to find a way to get it to the demographic that's going to basically appreciate what you did and to get them to check out the rest of your music. Shout out to everybody that's jumping into the live, man. Appreciate y'all. Yo, is everybody's TikTok working? My TikTok has been, the strangest thing now for God knows how long. And then my Streamlabs look like it's not working pretty good either. The chat just folded up on me. It's weird. I don't know what's going on tonight. Let's try to get this energy good, man. Energy is crazy right now. But thank you for submitting that, DeMarco, man. Ron DeMarco, man. Make sure y'all checking him out, man. This is just a solid effort. Make sure you jump into our producer group, bro, as well, man. You know what I'm saying? It's iron sharpen iron. I like what you got going on. Like what I'm hearing on it. So you definitely, want to get around like-minded folks. See what we can come out of that. This next joint is called what is it? Mariachi Madness. It's called Mariachi Madness, and this is by who? Who is this by? MCMD, the artist. This track fuses confident, bar-driven hip hop. You wrote a paragraph. That's more than I care to read right now. Shout out to everybody that's jumping into the live. Let's see what was that? Spotify loop? Let's see what it sounds like.
Little story time. MCMD, the artist. I'm that dude who comes in knocking, eats everything up, close your closet, wake you up with my trumpet, box you out like Dennis Rodman, dishing it out. Call me Stockton, we dancing now, and oh so heinous. Look at the way she tickles your fancy, drops it down, she's so romantic. All I remember from the night before, mariachi bands, the bathroom floor, tequila shots, couldn't take no more. My days in Mexico, a whole new phase, as I entered the door to a spacious stage, a balcony oversees a city, a whole new thought, new beginnings, felt the light, came alive.
Refresca mi vida, la perla tapatía. Refresca mi vida, la perla tapatía. Refresca mi vida, la perla tapatía.
Switch up the mix, took out the punk, put in the hip, till pop turned hop, opened up the game.
Listen, man, good attempt, man, on here, but this is not quite ready. Right? This is released, but this is not quite ready. And I understand, the need to get something out, but it's not quite ready. The beat is, okay. Your mix is not really good in terms of where your vocals are on here, and really your vocal performance needs a lot of work. Right? It's a little choppy in terms for rap, and there's not really like a strong hook here in this song to make it really, become memorable or become something that can be actually listened to over and over again. This goes back to what I was saying a little bit earlier, is I'm not sure that you guys are listening to enough music. And I think this is part of the pervasive issue with today's music where anything can go out at any time, and there's nothing that stops it from going out. There's no check and balance that says, nah, this can't go out right now. You know, back in my time, like you would have to go through a gatekeeper or a tastemaker, and there'd have to be someone there with experience. Sometimes they were haters, don't get me wrong, but there would have to be someone there that would say, hey bro, take that back to the drawing board. You could fix this, you can make this better. And I think because we don't have those kind of mechanisms anymore is what has basically caused the devaluation and the decline of a lot of music. It's because anything can come out. And what people are hoping for is that things just come out, and they're hoping for that somebody will pick it up and say it goes viral. Like, I think that is where a lot of people are hoping for. They're hoping for virality. But I want you guys to understand something about virality. These folks have sold us the dream of virality. That's what folks try to sell us. Folks sell us the dream of virality so that you can continue to feed the algorithm with your content, right? So that you can keep putting out mediocre content, right? Because without your content, the mechanism fails, right? So it needs your content, and what they do is that they use this illusion of virality so that people can continue to feed the monster with endless content so that they can continue to stay afloat off of your labor without any compensation. Right? It's called digital slavery. This is how it works. So what I want to try to dispel here on this particular music review situation is the thought of viral is not really real. The only thing that really works in the real world of social media and music and any type of content is, you know, good content and good songs, good content, good songs, good videos. That's what makes it, right? And it doesn't have to go viral for it to make it, right? Because good music and these things help to find your audience, and then your audience will continue to grow if you're consistent in terms of how good you're putting your music out, and if you're consistent in terms of how well you want to post things. It will grow. But I want people to understand, like, you know, this whole thing about, like, you know, you expect something to come out and you can just put it on Spotify and you expect it to just blow up. Nah, bro. Take it from somebody who's been posting for, you know, thousands of videos, and, you know, the things that social media decides to gravitate to are very, very strategic. They have to be either very controversial. It's just by design. They have to be very jarring, right? Or it has to be part of a trend, right? So, for example, if the trend right now is to talk about, say, for example, politics, that's the trend. You talk about that stuff, then you get put into the algorithm, right? For example, my friend Power passed away for Wu-Tang. You know, I made a post that instantly, you know, did numbers because it's trending. You know what I'm saying? And not because I wanted it to do that, but it's just part of what people are looking for at the time. So you can't mix that up with thinking that, that it's going viral because of, you have to know why it's going to do that. And I don't want people to just, submitting music and submitting stuff thinking that, hey, it's just going to go viral. And nah, you got to do a good song, bro. Like, we got to get back to that. And I have to be very candid in making sure that I'm saying it to maybe an audience of 1 or an audience of 10 or an audience of 100 or 1,000. It doesn't matter what the audience size is. I just have to continue to have the same messaging, which is we need good music. And here, this is what we're trying to strive for over here. We're trying to strive for good music. You don't make a career out of this like I have for 25 years without making good music. You just can't do it. You got to make good music. You got to make music that stands the test of time. And we have to make sure that we're proponents for that. So, shout out to MCMD for submitting and sharing this with us. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? But this is quite not ready, man. And I wish that I would have been able to intercept this before you put it out, because I would have told you to listen. You got to work on it a little bit more. You know, you got to work on it a little bit more. And then also, I'm sure before you released it, I'm sure you put it out on socials, and it probably didn't get the traction that you were looking for, and you put it out anyway. Like, socials is really going to tell you if you really should supposed to put your money in to put it on a DSP. Like, once you post it on socials, and you're seeing that you're not getting any real traction on that, that's the data that's telling you that you don't need to put it out yet, or it's not ready. Like, you know what I'm saying? Why put your money on DSP and pay to host it on a DSP? You know, if you pay DistroKid, you gotta pay every year. If you pay CD Baby, you gotta pay one-time price. Like, none of his places free to host. You know what I mean? So you actually paid your money, you know, to put it somewhere where it can't earn you any money. That's hustling backwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta try the market. You know what I mean? And it'll tell you. But a lot of times we want to ignore those signs because we think that they're gonna go viral. Nah, don't do that. Don't believe the hype. This next one is called Mother Suki. What's this called? Waste Management. Sam Gutierrez. I'm gonna take a listen to it. This might be the last one for tonight. This music has been whoa.
This ain't my story about rags to riches, more about how I mastered physics. In the game, I used to train like Rocky, catching chickens. I was nice, but they was right when they told me that rap was business. I had 10 bands in my stash when I passed over $500,000. Come easy after acting, I should when I brought the rain was torn. God.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They submitted music, they got Benny the Butcher in it. That don't make any sense. People wasting people's time, man. What is this?
Last in my sneakers, nigga want me on the song, he gon' see the wrath of the reaper. I'm probably gon'
That's not, we can't even listen to that, man. Even with Benny the Butcher on it, it sound crazy. You can't listen to that. Yeah. This is a hard no for me. And I think with this I see why people don't do this. I see. I'm starting to understand. I'm starting to understand why people don't do this. Because I think people waste people's time, man. I'm starting to see it now. I'm understanding. I understand why people don't do it, and I'm starting to understand why people don't put people on. It's because, you know, people waste people's time, and you get used to people wasting time. That when somebody really comes along, you know, when people come along that really don't have nothing, like your ears are burnt out. You can't listen to that. You know? Like I'm starting to understand. Like I'm understanding why people don't do this, man. You said you glad that people are garbage. It makes you stand out. Can I tell you a joke? If you get used to listening to too much garbage, you can't tell the difference anymore. You know what I'm saying? You start to get used to the garbage, and you start thinking that the garbage is good. So then the thing that's supposed to be to stand out no longer stands out, because we've been conditioned to think that the garbage was actually good. That's what happened for the last 10 years. You know, we thought that the garbage was actually good because the garbage was being fueled by bots and everything else. And now that you can't use the bots anymore, you see how dry it is? Oh, plus, you no more stimulus package. So because you don't have any stimulus package and because you don't got any more bots, you see how dry it is? So you have to start asking your question, was that music any good? Was it really any good to begin with? So I know somebody's asking me to stay in here. Remember, there's a queue of 100+ people, man. So if it's not gonna skip the line, I'm not going through 100 songs tonight, bro. You know, I'm lucky I'm lucky to go through 10. If I'm lucky to go through 10, like, I ain't gonna hold you. You know what I'm saying? I got real projects to work on, real albums to work on, real artists to work with. You know what I'm saying? For real, like, you know. I got music out now, music coming out now with large people, with large names. So I don't really have the time to you know, to sit here and, you know, this is why I can see why people don't do it, because they're wasting people's time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm literally trying to find some good artists, some good producers, and I see that people are wasting people's time and, you know, dropping garbage into the chat, and, you know what I'm saying, they're wasting people's time. So then what happens is that a person like me gets salty and be like, you know what, people ain't really serious, and I don't really need to do what I'm doing. I just keep it mushing, and, you know, whoever gonna make it, they make it on their own. And, like, you know, people, you know, the people that would help people, you turn them sour against helping people, because people take their time and take advantage of it. You know, take advantage of the kindness, take advantage of the availability, take advantage of the access. So then when folks do that, then it's like, you know, people bow out. They don't want, you know, they say they don't want to do it anymore. You know what I mean? They're like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see so many artists that put on so many guys. You know, shout out to, like, a guy like Fat Joe. Put on so many guys, and then what happens is, you see people turn, you see people act funny, you see things happen. Now he's in a position, he's probably in the best position of his career where he can help people, and he's not doing it. He refuses to do it because he's been taken advantage of too often. You know what I'm saying? And so he stopped doing it. And you don't see these guys putting people on anymore. You don't think it's strange, but that's how it goes. Oh, some people don't know they're garbage. Some people don't have real friends to criticize the music. What if I told you that even if they had real friends that criticized their music, they wouldn't believe it anyway, because they have a mechanism that makes them they're unable to criticize themselves. They've been raised in an environment where no one ever told them no, or no one ever told them that, you know, they could do better. So, you know, that's just part of the game, I guess. You know what I mean? So I'm about to hop off of this thing, man. You know what I'm saying? $1 Million Baby 4 coming up. That's Max B, $1 Million Baby 4. This guy's got the hottest record in the country. Record being added to radio at the fastest pace ever since You Left Me with French Montana. That's on Coke Wave 3.5. Narcos out now. The song Me Too is produced by us, Arkatech Beatz. This is an album that has, who's on this album? Metro Boomin. Who's on this album? Harry Freud, Dame Grease, Justice League. Okay? And us. I need people to be clear on who's on this album and the people that we're working with. You can check out our socials. Everything is arkatechbeatz.com. You know what I mean? But again, this whole format right now is really about me trying to find new artists, new producers, and I'm trying to put that out there, trying to see who's, you know, working with folks. I've opened up the community to work with folks, to help folks directly. But again, you know, people got to respect people's time. Man. Like, once you start feeling like your time isn't being respected, that's when you're going to fall back. And no amount of money going to bring you back into it. Like, you know what I'm saying? My man Power passed away at 52. That man is a year older than me. Like, time is precious. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to be thinking that people's time can be wasted, man. You can't get it back. And it's clear that it's very short. So, you know, we just try to do what we do. But for those who are looking to submit, you know, like I said, the queue is currently at about, 114. So, you know, you'd have to skip the line in order to get heard tonight. Shout out to everybody jumping into the live. Shout out to the new followers. I appreciate you. I appreciate you too, Cass. You know what I'm saying? People that's, you know, really getting it done and doing the work.
Arkatech Beatz.
Nah, I'm playing you a beat that we did last night. Every now and again I'll preview some music because, you know, I still do have my producers. I still do a music producers live stream, production live stream. So every now and again I will, you know, play some of the stuff that I was cooking up previously for some of my producer guys that get into the chat. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to, you know, let them, you know, hear what we're working on, what we're cooking up behind the scenes. Because we've had the distinct experience. We've had the experience. I don't do anybody's mixes, bro. I'm sorry. I do got a guy that's part of my team that he's more of an engineer, that engineer for like Lil Baby and some guys. But he's also a producer, but he's under my umbrella that I can point you to. A younger guy. But at the end of the day, we were cooking up a bunch of beats online. And, you know, I was going live every night, cooking up joints every night. And then what happened is, you know, I didn't know where a lot of those beats were going to go. You know, we were just cooking them up, and then, of course we do what we do. But Max B came home, right? So as Max B came home, you know, for those who know, we did one of his biggest songs, Why You Do That. So he came out, he settled in, he reached out to us, and then some of the music that I produced on those live streams started to land. You know, one in particular is one that, you know, that we did with Max B and Wiz Khalifa. A song called Don't Let Go, which is supposed to come out on $1 Million Baby 4, but Wiz Khalifa wound up recording it live on stream. So that was kind of telling, you know what I'm saying? So there's like a video of me actually making the beat in the live stream and then it going on to be, you know, Wiz Khalifa rapping on it, which is crazy, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So it's a testament to letting people understand of, you know, like, you just gotta do the work. You know, you gotta do the work, and you can't worry about, you know, how many people's in the live, if it's 10 people in the live, if it's 15 people in the live. It's like, remember, just one record changed your life. You know? And I've been here to see it too many times where you got a record that just comes out of almost nowhere, right? That probably wouldn't have got done. Why you do that as a record that probably wouldn't have gotten done? You know, it's like a fluky type of thing. And then also the Me Too record, that's a fluky kind of thing because that was a record that we produced 10 years ago that French Montana heard it, said, I got to put that on the album. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, again, it's just making your opportunity and creating your own luck. But we have to show up. And we got to do this thing for an audience or not an audience. And we have to just, make sure that we're creating the best music that we can create and create the best content that we can create and let the chips fall where they're going to fall. The only thing that you have control over is how often you show up and how much work you put in. But you don't have any control over this algorithm or who want to show it to. You don't have any control over that. So you still got to do what you got to do. But I say all of that to say, we're doing the music reviews. Again, it's an exercise. I've met some artists on here that I think are going to be dope. Like I said, there's another platform that I'm working with that will help to be another music discovery platform, and that's what I didn't really want to let that cat out of the bag. But listening to will most likely be turned over to there for them to have a chance of being discovered again in a new platform to help them get promoted. You know what I mean? Like, these things are very important, So some folks don't even realize that. So, they just think that I'm doing music reviews just for doing music reviews. It's layered, because again, I tell my folks that I'm here to really give back something that I didn't have coming into the business. So, it's just something that I'm trying to create. But again, we have to see the appreciation and the gratitude for it. If we don't see that, it's like, it's like we're trying to do it, but at the same time, it's like, I got a, family, young kids and stuff like that. I could be giving them that time. You got to really think about it in that kind of context, So, while I want to give as much as I can back to folks, if it's falling on deaf ears, we got to keep it moving. Shout out to everybody that's jumping into the joint. But I'm about to hop off. I don't see any other new music coming through. I don't see anybody skipping in line or nothing like that. So I'm about to jump off. If anything, I'll see you guys on the next one. I do appreciate your time on it. We're about to get out of here. Peace.